Alright, welcome back everybody. This is Act 2 of the Colonel's Bequest, a lower bow adventure. When we last left off, we had met everybody that's going to be important at the mansion, and we had seen a few fights, and seen that Gertie was asleep. That was apparently important enough to catapult us right on into Act 2, so let's, without any further ado, just jump right in. Now, this is the point of the game at which you really have to start being careful. The first act, there wasn't a whole lot you could miss, but yeah, we shouldn't bother little Gertie. There wasn't a whole lot you could miss in the first act, but starting here, we really need to be in the right place at the right time. So somehow, with our psychic investigator powers, we're going to manage that. Let's head away from. Oh, what is that? Looks like something was dropped on the ground. Now that wasn't here the last time we were out here. It appears to be a handkerchief. So let's go ahead and examine that. Maybe this will be our first clue. Of course, it doesn't know hanky. It knows H-A-N-K-Y, by the way. I messed up on that. But we can do handkerchief as well. So we have acquired it. And, maybe there's a clue on it. Maybe a fingerprint or something. As it turns out, there is, but that's not anything we can find out now. We'll have to wait for later to see that. Let's see if it's... Oh. I was going to say maybe it's Gertie's, but it looks like something happened in here. We smell some cigar smoke, and we see a window open, and possibly signs of a struggle. We weren't gone that long. We just stepped out in the hallway for a second. I hope everything's okay. I've intentionally turned off the sound for this part, because I just remember this being really creepy the first time I played it. Just sort of this, I don't know, sinister breeze blowing in, and it sounds ridiculous, but just kind of in the silence itself, it's kind of creepy. So, nothing else in here. The plant's tipped over. We might be able to see something looking out the window, but we can't really tell what it is. Now, you might think that the thing to do is to go off and investigate that immediately, seeing as that's been once... Ooh, somebody is walking outside on the veranda. So apparently there is a way that you could get around. It's possible, then, that Gertie opened the window and was walking on the veranda, I suppose. It's also possible that she entered or left the room, or somebody else entered and left the room through the secret passage. But, well, before we do any investigating, it's definitely time to get a little advice from Ghost Dad, who, as some of you have pointed out, is not actually dead. So he's more of a, it's like an Obi-Wan Kenobi thing going here, is all I can figure out. It's a little disconcerting that we're actually talking to him, and, presumably she says that out loud, I don't know. Just in the hallway. Thanks, Daddy! It'd be sort of weird to hear that. Anyway, if you think that we're going to go investigate that, or in a number of times in this game, if you think that we're going to do the thing that the game presents us as, you should probably do this right away, well, you would not get the best score. Because if we went and investigated, we would advance the clock, and that would wreck our chances of seeing some other very interesting things happen. So let's instead just head on out and see. Somehow we knew that Clarence and Wilbur were going to be out here having themselves a little discussion and advancing the plot. We can probably guess what this is about because of our snooping last act, where we found out that Clarence had been involved in some sort of scam. Now, one thing, if you checked out the map, that you might know about the weapons room, the parlor, or the study, I mean. Look out the window there. There's a figure that walks by. We'll see that a couple times in this update. You can't actually spy on people in the far right or the far left room, so we've got to chase them into one of these adjoining rooms. There's that figure again in the background. It doesn't actually work in this room for whatever reason. It never lets you spy on them here. If you try to go back and circle around and get in the secret passages, they'll just teleport right to the dining room. Seems weird to me, but whatever. So anyway, we've chased them into a room that we can spy on, and will now be able to look through the eyes and just see what's going on. So assuming this is the racehorse thing, it looks like Wilbur is involved in that as well. Notice the big cigar that Clarence is smoking. We did smell cigar smoke in a fairly important place just recently, so that is something to make note of. Clarence seems pretty determined to hold everything together. I'm actually reading a fair amount of desperation in what he's saying, but, maybe he does know people. Maybe he does have it in hand. So, it looks like they stole a sum of money from Henri and used it to buy a racehorse. Just as a little historical note here, they said $100,000 was what they stole. Now, adjusted for inflation, that is a little over $1 million in 2012 money. So, that was a really expensive horse. I know that some racehorses have been purchased for upwards of $16 million, so certainly not the most expensive ever purchased. But they were planning on getting like a Derby winner or something with this, and just did not work out for them at all, apparently. Well, that was one of the things that we need to find in a very time-dependent way, and so, with our investigator senses tingling, let's head towards the kitchen and see if anything... Once again, there's that figurine out there. That figure walking by, I mean. So Jeeves seems to have gotten something from the kitchen and is headed outside. This is marking part 2 of his duties. It seems like we could tell from the last chapter, if you checked out the dialogue, that Lillian and Celie are pretty close. That Celie sort of goes to Lillian for advice, and she feels like she really understands her. Let's see if anybody recognizes that handkerchief. The show command I have not found in the game to be particularly helpful. I don't think you ever need it for a 100% run, and I don't really think... I think even Lillian saying that the handkerchief was familiar is like unusually helpful. Usually people are just like, I don't know. I wondered here, since Celie has been on the plantation for a long time, if she would have known about that Bible or about Sarah or the croutons or anything. But apparently not. She can't tell us nothing. She's really rolling that dough though, or that cornbread, I guess, or cornmeal, or whatever that is. Well, let's head out to see what Jeeves was doing. Looks like feeding the dog. That plate of whatever was actually a dog food bowl. This super requires you to have psychic powers. Because we can look in the doghouse before this, and it'll just say that there's nothing in there. And we can look in it now, and it'll just say Beauregard's home. Well, hot dog. What we need to do, and what I don't know why we would do, but what we need to do is use our soup bone from earlier and toss it away so that Beau goes over and starts chewing on it. Now, if we look in the doghouse, we will find a necklace of amethyst and quartz stones. Amethyst, I think, just being a particular kind of quartz, like a colored kind of quartz. So, quartz and quartz stones. Not hugely valuable, but probably of sentimental value to somebody. A good dog, Beau. Oh no, he's too busy with his bone. He would not want to be petted right now. Well, we say, going on this bizarre chain of logic, seeing as I've found this near the kitchen, maybe Celie knows whose it is. Or, maybe she seems like an observant person. Maybe she might know who this belongs to. Oh, well, it actually is Celie's. This thing it's very important to do, because now we are Celie's friend. And she is actually nice to us now and likes us. and that is going to be important at some crucial date later. I certainly did not do this on my first playthrough, and so she was not helpful to me later. But now, seeing as we've returned her necklace, I guess she recognizes us for just the good-hearted person that we are, and we can, sort of continue on. That, again, I haven't found cues or triggers for any of that, if any of that exists. But, we did it. We flexed our mental might. And now we sort of feel like finding out what's going on in the billiards room. I think this is another one you can barge in on and then still get through the spy passages. But nonetheless, we find Clarence and Gloria. Honestly, a lot of this LP, the benefit that you get from watching me do it is you don't just check every room that you can with the spy passages every time before you enter them. Because that's what normally you would do, and then you just find, them talking in here, and then you could go in there. Uh-oh. I think we've seen... I like how they're just blowing smoke into each other's faces. The family that smokes together. Well, I guess they break up and they were never a family, but... Anyway. Yes, this is the fateful conversation that we heard about last time, as they sort of bizarrely incline their necks towards each other. Clarence doesn't seem to be taking it too well, although I suppose his entire world is sort of falling apart at this point in time. Gertie was threatening to tell about his racehorse scam, Wilbur's threatening to tell about his racehorse scam, Gloria is breaking up with him. I don't think you can say that if somebody breaks up with you. I don't think your response can be, I have to think about that, see you around, sweetheart. I think by the time you're saying that, the relationship is pretty much over. I do just want to take a moment out now, based on actually some comments that I've gotten, and just an analysis of the character in general. Let's just take a moment and sort of feel bad for Gloria, actually. She's in kind of a rough place, I feel like. So we know that she's sort of this wannabe successful actress, puts a lot of time into looking glamorous, but it's not working. She's not famous. She has some medical embarrassment that she's terrified that people are going to find out about. She's in a bad relationship. We don't know about the director. Maybe he's great, but Clarence is surely creepy, so there she was, just thinking of a better world and listening to music. Well, that's enough of feeling bad for her. Honestly, everybody's got their problems tonight, and we don't have any spare time to spend worrying about a failed actress. No, instead, let's continue the saga of things that we couldn't possibly know to do, but are incredibly important that we do, and head back out this way again. Seeley says a whole bunch of different things when we enter, and people who are talking in a room generally will give us some different information every time we enter if we catch them at different times. This door was locked before, the basement door. It doesn't like the fact that I'm trying to open a door, it needs me to open the basement. But nothing happened to tell me that it would be open. But it's one of the last rooms we haven't been in. At least the normal last rooms. It appears to be Jeeves' place. It kind of looks a little dingy to me, but he seems to have fixed it up pretty well. I guess he's finished his chores for now. He's trying to take a nap, but we are not letting him. He's supposed to sound kind of jerky here, I think, but he really does. Hey, Jeeves, have you seen this handkerchief? No, he doesn't care. Go away. But Laura is not satisfied with just bugging the man. She looks all the way across the room because she forgets that thing in front of her isn't also a cabinet. Oh, what the heck, we'll just say that we know that it's crackers. This is apparently Jeeves' snack. So he's trying to take a nap, we barge in, wave a handkerchief in front of him, and now we're taking his crackers. It is extremely important that you get these and that you get them now, because there's all kinds of clues that you will not gain access to if you don't get them. And again, this is one of those timed things that you just wouldn't happen to know about. I've never tried to open this cabinet before, but we don't seem to really care about it that much. Well, let's leave this poor butler in peace for just a few minutes. I'll take a different route this time. I've normally headed through the house, but let's just walk outside a little bit to get to this next place. You can see that there's two doors on each side of the house, and those lead to the different rows, I guess you could say. Yep, here's Ethel, doing her thing. I love Ethel's theme. This isn't supposed to go here, but I spliced it in just because it's so great. Look how judgmental Laura is, as usual, hiding the booze. And does that seem like a weird way she's taking an inordinate interest in the parrot? Well, none of that matters, because it's time for Parrot Update number 1. We'll be getting one of these per chapter, and they serve to give you little hints. They only happen if you get the crackers. And, this is one of those traditional parrots that only needs to hear something once before repeating only the most salient details. I like how Ethel's apparently jealous of us now, because we were able to, we were able to get the parrot's attention. I wonder what kind of conversation she's having with Polly. I wonder if there's things that she's saying that she would not say if we were there. Well, let's spy on her. I can't really make any sense of this drunk accent. I don't know anybody that turns THs to S's when they're really drunk. What'd she think? I don't care what she think. Especially Gertie. Polly isn't judging. Actually, Polly kind of looks creepy. Doesn't he look evil in this shot? Like he's got, I don't know, an evil eye or something. Look at that, he's encouraging her. Polly, that is terrible behavior. Ethel clearly has a drinking problem. The last thing she needs is you goading her on. Well, we'll leave her to her aviophilia and alcoholism. Let's finally think about getting around to investigating that mysterious object outside of the window near Gertie's room. Like how Clarence is asking if everything's alright. No, I want to break up with you, but you're horribly creepy. It does appear that they're playing billiards. With 3 balls, 2 red and 1 white. They will play this forever. Well, let's see what's out here. Oh my goodness, is that... It is! Gertie has fallen from her upstairs window and killed herself. So it looks like the veranda actually wouldn't connect to her room, so I guess whoever that was just walking along the front of the veranda? I'm not sure. You want to search every body that you come across, just to get the top score. We can see that she definitely died of a broken neck. Which means at this point, it's not for sure that it was murder. This could well have been an accident. She might have opened the window to get some fresh air and just tipped herself out. But regardless, we probably ought to tell Gloria about this, that being her mom and everything. Oh, she's going to be heartbroken, or as close as her brittle little actress heart will allow her to be. I feel like we should be going out with her to comfort her or something. And Clarence doesn't care. Oh, I missed again. Her mom died. What? No, there was clearly a body out there. Maybe Gloria's drunk or something. I don't know. Maybe, she was right there. Huh. Yeah, Gertie was definitely dead just there, right? Yeah, the game seems to corroborate that Gertrude is dead. Well, we're left with a choice right now. Do we want to go around and tell everybody else in the house that she's dead and try to get some support? Or just accept that they're useless and continue on? So take your pick.
Yo, peep the style and the kids checking for it. The number one question is how could you ignore it? We drop right back in the cut over basement tracks with raps that got you backing this up like rewind that. We're just rolling with the rhythm. Rise from the ashes of stylistic division. With these non-stop lyrics of life living. Not to be forgotten, but still unforgiven. But in the meantime, there are...
Yeah, I'm sorry to say that what you've chosen to try to tell everybody is most certainly the humane choice of things to do, but it is not the useful one. Because of two reasons. The first problem is that people are apparently incredibly dismissive. I think if somebody told me that they found somebody dead, like they found a dead body, I wouldn't immediately be like, oh, you know, that swamp. It just plays tricks on you. See, like, the knights here can fool you. What do you mean the knights can fool you? I saw a dead body. Look at that! Look how careless everybody is. Kindly leave my room. Jeeves, I just found a dead person. Surely you have to care about this. Now, not the whole thing is other people's fault. A little bit of this is Laura's fault, too. Watch when we try to tell Lillian here. We already know that Gloria didn't find anything, and then we went and saw that the body was gone ourselves. So, you know, I'm not really clear on what we were thinking was going to happen here. I mean, we can try again, but you'd think that she would tell that, like, hey, the whole story, hey, I saw her body, and then somebody went out to check and then it was gone, instead of just, like, telling the first part of that. I know, it just doesn't seem useful to me. This is a part I feel like where Laura could be a lot more confrontational. I mean, I think it would make sense to be, like, really digging in your heels about this. Like, we need to find Gertie. Either I hallucinated and she's alive, which, great. I don't know. Also, if you actually tell Wilbur, if you go in the library, that advances the chapter, so that's not something I'd recommend doing in a regular playthrough. Which is an annoying part, because just, you know, you might walk in the library regularly, but then you miss out everything else in this chapter, which there's still some important stuff. Well, anyway, through a combination of ineptitude and laziness, we have chosen to not tell everyone because, through ineptitude and laziness, as I was saying, they are utterly unhelpful. If you didn't watch that little part, let me just say that Laura is bad at giving information. There's that figure in the window. Laura is bad at giving information, and other people are bad at caring about other people, even if they are dead. I didn't know if there was a way to, like, focus on that figure outside of the window, but I guess not. Doesn't matter. We'll see that figurine kind of a lot. You saw it already if you saw the bonus features from last video. So I was just going in there to check on Celia and Lillian, see how they were doing. But, you know, we weren't able to convince anybody that Gertie was dead, partially, well, there were a couple reasons for it. Actually, before, there were a couple reasons we couldn't convince them. One was that the body was there, but maybe if we just showed them that her room was just the way it was. Huh. Well, so her room is just the way it was, and her body disappeared, and golly, I guess it's not really looking good for poor Laura's sanity here. I mean, I'm not saying she's crazy, but, well, something funny is going on at least. People seem to say Rudy was in his room, so let's take a peek in there and see if anything seems to be going on. Nope, just Rudy drinking. Giving the little raised eyebrow to nobody there. Well, let's go in and talk to him. Maybe he's going to be level-headed about this. Maybe he will be a safe person that we can... Oh. Well, he's with... Oh, and Fifi doesn't want to be with him. And he was apparently assaulting Fifi. Well, that's kind of a bad sign. Yeah, we already got this description. Let's see what he's up to. Apparently, just he went right from that to just relaxing in his room, so I guess being slapped doesn't really bother him that much. Maybe he's used to that. I'm not sure you do have her completely pegged, Rudy. Because if you did, then you might have known she didn't want to kiss you. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Well, maybe Fifi has gone up to her room, which we somehow know is up here. Yep. Poor girl. Well, I'll talk to her a little bit and then put that in a screenshot at the end. Just to get her opinion on things, now that she's not busy doing chores. I don't know what's so bad about being in your room. None of the staff seem to really like us being in their room. Not Jeeves and not you. I don't know. Got nothing else to do with you, Fifi. You know who we didn't ask? The only other person who smells like cigars. We never found out what the Colonel was up to, or told him about Gertie. Maybe he could tell what was going on. Oh, well, he seems to be gone, and so is his elevator. You know, though, something about my psychic sense tells me to look in this can here. Well, I will be. There is a tarnished brass key in there. I guess I better get that. Well, we have a key now. I wonder what it's for. I wonder if we'll suddenly know where to use it at some point in time in the future. It sure is a good thing that we knew about it. I noticed there's fires in a lot of rooms. Does it really get that cold in Louisiana? I mean, I guess in the winter and everything it might, but no, it seems unnecessary. I don't know what I was trying to do there. Well, I think we've sort of given things a little rundown. I think we ought to be feeling pretty shaken right now. Either Gertie is dead and somebody has moved the body and fixed her room, or we are going crazy. And at this point in time, it's very hard to pick out which of the two of those is correct. You know, I think I want to show off one more thing before we go into the library, which leads us very suddenly into Act 3. Actually, if you enter the library at just about any point after seeing Gertie, then you get catapulted into Act 3, so you could miss the thing with Fifi and Rudy, or you could miss talking to a lot of people, or miss the crackers. Nobody really has much to say about the croutons or Sarah. It's just some variation on I don't know them and I don't care about them. Lillian, however, seems to have more opinions. She apparently, presumably as a child, was in the playhouse and noticed some of Sarah's things, which are still out there, I guess. That would have been a fair amount of time ago, even in the 1920s. But she apparently feels this sort of close bond with Sarah, who we're not sure was the ghost out in the graveyard. But I don't know, those responses just seem to indicate that maybe, even Celia doesn't really know anything about her, says it was too long ago. Those responses maybe indicate that there's something to Sarah, that we ought to be paying attention, at least a little bit, to the croutons. As I mentioned, there's a side quest in there too. Well, I think that's about all we can do for now in Act 2. So let's go in and get another jaw-dropping installment. Wilbur Reads a Magazine, Act 3. Well, I'll catch you next time, folks, and let's hopefully figure out if Laura is crazy or if there's a murderer on the loose.